Hello, hello. I think we're live. It's day one of a 6-day series that I'll be sharing with you. I'll be sharing with you all the insights. I think we're live. And it's day one. And the goodness, the richness, the fun, and the growth and the journey that's all going to come from my book, Bringing Spirituality into Business. It's about bringing spirituality into the business of all that you do, into your health and well-being, into relationships, your career, the work that you do, the contribution you bring to the world, into everything that you do. So today I want to demystify, debunk some of the myth and confusion that people have around spirituality. And what is spirituality, right? I've asked and polled a lot of people why, because in the beginning, I too was really super confused on what spirituality is. I confused it with religion. I confused it with a way I was supposed to think like others, to conform, to fit in, and it's none of that. What I found was spirituality is individual, unique, and personal as each and every individual human. And that we all find our way on that spiritual journey, that spiritual growth, that spiritual intelligence speaks to us, informs us uniquely, personally different, each and every one of us. So if you're tapping in live, tap into the comments where you're tapping in from, what part of the world where you are residing today, where your home base is, where you're connecting from. And if you have questions, put a big capital Q before the questions so they're easier to find as I scroll through later to try to read from those questions. And if you have questions about future topics, if you could message me prior to, I really appreciate it, because then I'll have those questions printed out and I won't have to spend time scrolling and searching for the questions through the feed. So I want to start with some of the answers that we get from what is spirituality, right? And first you have to answer this for yourself. I don't want you to latch on to someone else's description or definition of what it is for them. I want you to go within and define this for yourself. And if need be, which I actually encourage, is that you put on experiments to help validate what it is for you, so that you really come to this word with a greater understanding based on your own personal experiences, experiments, and the results that you found through your own experiments. And I'll be honest with you, that's exactly what I did. When I started talking and having a relationship with this higher intelligence in me, I really put on experiments. I put it to the test and I validated what came out of those experiments. So when I ask a broad audience, what is spirituality? I asked it again this morning to a couple audiences. One is a group that I host on Facebook called Awaken to the Spirit Within. Just the title shows you I've been doing this work for a while, right? My biggest curiosity. My biggest purpose and passion in life has been to understand this human condition, to understand human behavior, what makes us unique and different, and why the world aims to make us fit into this sector they call normal, and why that's not in our best interest, why each of us is here to be a beautiful expression of our authentic and true nature. So each one of us is definitely here for our own purpose, our own journey, our own reasons, our own bringing forth our own gifts, our own talents, and our own contribution to the world, right? And each of us has amazing gifts and talents and uniqueness to share. When we really take a spiritual journey, we start seeing others through like a different lens, through a different, I want to say through rose-colored glasses, because we really do start to see the greatness in others. Maybe some would call it the divinity in another, the sacredness in another, the beautiful spirit that's moving through and expressing itself in the uniqueness of this human vessel. So as I asked many, many others about what is spirituality, I think how most people ended up answering it was what it brought them. And it's been answered that it's really a self-discovery to knowing who they are and who they're here to become. That spirituality was knowing my self-worth, loving myself beyond my misperceptions, my misbehaviors, my faults, my flaws. Spirituality was feeling into all that I am, the abundance, the wealth of riches within me. Spirituality was being whole, complete, and fulfilled. Spirituality was connectedness to all things, feeling an overall sense of unity. Spirituality is seeking connection with something bigger than myself. Spirituality is knowing you have this sacred space, this place that you call home, where you get to find yourself over and over again. Spirituality is connection to your soul, higher self, spirit. Spirituality is truth beyond what we see in our physical form. Spirituality is the understanding of spiritual law and spiritual intelligence working within. So as you can see, spirituality has a broad array of definitions that it wants to share in each and every individual. What spirituality is to you is what it is to you. It is as unique and personal as we are different. So as I open my book, Bringing Spirituality into Business, and we're really bringing spirituality into the business of everything. How we do one thing is how we do everything. So I start out in the book saying that spirituality is that sense or belief that there's something bigger than you, something more than being human, more than just your five senses. Spirituality invites you to see your connection to everything, everyone, to universal laws, and to the wisdom and intelligence within you. Spirituality reminds you that you're here to grow, to advance, to increase, and to prosper. It summons you to recall that the energy on this planet is cosmic or divine in nature. Spirituality is a very broad concept of belief in something beyond oneself. Exploring spirituality is individual and personal, yet deeply connecting to others, to nature, and to all things. Spirituality offers a worldview that suggests there's more to life than what people experience on a sensory and physical level. Let me just pause for a moment here, because this really opens it up in a broad perspective, that spirituality invites us to know ourselves, to grow ourselves, and to live our life in power. There's more to our experience than our five senses can validate. And to know that things are cosmic and divine by nature allows us then to start looking for that opportunity, that higher potential, that divine nature in all things. If you have the book and you've already opened it to chapter 1, which began on page 17 and takes you through to page 23, along with an invitation on page 24 that will allow you to give and contemplate, give greater thought to, and reflect on and contemplate some of the chapter in a personal way, for you to give more meaning and growth to all of this. But spirituality is living in the present moment with a curiosity, acceptance, and grace. Spirituality is a brain state that we can all reach for the purpose of our own general understanding. The term spirituality is expressed here as a higher state of consciousness. Spirituality empowers you to radiate your natural beauty, your essence, and your light and your love. Spirituality empowers you to heal, to mend the invisible wounds, and to end the self-perpetuated suffering. It allows you to commit, to devote yourself to one power, one presence. This power is love and emotes compassion and inner peace. It reminds you of the universal laws of advancement, attraction, vibration, cause and effect, and your oneness with all things. I go into science and neuroscience in this first chapter, explaining spirituality in ways that science has tried to define and explain and explore spirituality. And there's a father of Western psychology called William James, and he defined spiritual experiences in 1902 as states of higher consciousness that are induced by efforts to understand the general principles or structure of the world through one's inner experience. At the core of his view of spirituality is what we might call connectedness, which refers to the fact that the individual goals can be truly realized only in the context of the whole, one's relationship to the world and to others. Traditionally, this spiritual state has been described as divine, achievable through contemplative and embodied practices such as prayer, meditation, rhythmic rituals, psychedelics, and other plant medicines. Indeed, this higher state of consciousness and connection has been reported in many spiritual traditions, ranging from Buddhism to Sufism, Judaism to Christianity. However, recent neuroscientific research shows that the same state can be achieved through secular practices as well. Scientific and creative epiphanies, with their accompanying ecstatic states, are characterized by a sense of unity and bliss similar to religious experiences, with both involving higher states of presence and observation. Geniuses such as Isaac Newton, Louis Pasteur, Albert Einstein, and Nikola Tesla reported spiritual-like states during their revelations and breakthroughs. These don't have to be the rare experiences of a chosen few. They can be reached in your everyday life as well. We see athletes reaching higher states of peak potential and performance. We see leadership executives and influencers claiming states of flow, where they watch themselves achieving more in a few hours than they've been able to achieve in a week. We see our technological developments exceeding even our own expectations. We see humanity evolving to higher states of consciousness. We see a rise in those flocking to experience psychedelics in an attempt to fast track or even biohack their way into spirituality and higher states of consciousness. You have the ability to reach these states in your daily life. They are of your inner nature. As a musician, singer, and songwriter, Billy Corgan puts it, he says, I think the spiritual journey is not so much a journey of discovery. It's a journey of recovery. It's a journey of uncovering your inner nature. And it's already here and present. So spirituality, call it what you will, pure consciousness, the power of the universe, the power of the creator, creation, the breath of life, the life force energy that sustains you and me. Call it God, Abba, or Marad of other labels. While spirituality is not a religion, many faith practices can lead one to spirituality and thus recognizing this power and this presence. In neuroscience, studies show us the way that spiritual states are reflected in the brain and other parts of the body. Spiritual practices have been shown to be closely linked to self-awareness, empathy, and a sense of connectedness, all of which can be correlated with the frequency of brain waves as measured by an EEG. Studies using EEG have demonstrated how fragmented and out of step our whole brain activity can be much of the time, suggestive of conflicts between our behavior, thinking, feeling, and communication. Alternatively, expert meditators demonstrate the more harmonious brain waves, which could be indicative of greater synchrony and connectivity within and across different neural pathways. In short, spirituality, similar to love, has psychological effects on the brain and the body, and the EEG provides a view on these changes. In addition, advancements in neuroscience and neuroplasticity show us that we can do more than just measure this kind of activity. We can also train our brains to behave in a more aware state by engaging in activities that facilitate greater connection or neurosynchronization. Higher synchronizations look like a large group of brain cells singing together. Some practices known to create higher synchronization are meditation, prayer, breathwork, yoga, qigong. And all of these allow a state of you becoming calmer internally. I want to pause here because this is really huge. This is like laying the foreground to the entire book. What's been said and stated thus far is that spirituality creates, or highly spiritual states, right? Create a brainwave state where the brain acts as though it's singing together in harmony. Well, I want to share with you, Washington University is a well-known university located in St. Louis, Missouri, where I reside. They recently put together what's called the Mindfulness Lab, and they're studying psychedelics' effect on the brain as a state beyond or before the psilocybin enters the bloodstream or body, and during and after, right? So they're monitoring the brain wave state, and they're doing MRIs to show and validate the effects of what's going on in this individual prior to, during, and after, right? So they're showing it days before, as this individual has a normal brainwave state, and then validating what it looks like under the influence of psilocybin in the body. And one thing that they found is that the psilocybin activates all the neurons in the brain. And what they shared with us in a group Zoom meeting just months ago was that they asked a question, and they said, what does depression, anxiety, PTSD, and Alzheimer's all have in common? And what they all have in common is that in some way, shape, or form, each one of these diseases causes atrophy of the brain. It causes a section or a portion of our brain to begin to wither, to become unresponsive, to become inactive, or to start to diminish. And the plant medicine activates all the areas of the brain. So does meditation, so does breath work, so do other things. But I want to bring this to your awareness, because why are so many people doing this research on psychedelics? Why have so many people started adopting a practice of meditation? Why have there been so many coaches and therapists entering new practices in the world as life coaches, business coaches, health coaches, to help individuals move beyond the old programming? Because we now have the science that validates all of this. Spirituality causes us to go deeper into our knowing of ourselves. It causes us to ask those bigger questions. Who am I? What am I here for? What is my life purpose? What am I here to contribute? What brings me joy? And it really has us learning to apply deeper meaning and a purpose to our existence, to our reason for being on the planet at this time. So spirituality is a deeper inward journey for you, for me, and for each and every individual to find our own way. And I do think it's finding our way home, back home to our truth, our sense of self, our purpose. And in doing so, our passion, our joy, our love for self, for what we came here for the planet, for one another. The list goes on and on. So in summary, I want to summarize this and wrap this up, because I don't want to keep it too long. I know we're all busy and we've all got many things going on, but I want to invite you into exploring, experimenting with, and finding for yourself what spirituality has to show you, and how it can grow you and help you to live your life from an empowered state. In summary, spirituality is a personal journey that has profound and lasting effects on your well-being, as well as your perceptions, interactions, and relatedness with yourself, the world, and others. It validates that you're here to advance, to grow, and to become more. You can probably see why, or you can probably see by now, that bringing spirituality into business is really about bringing spirituality into the lives of all through business. But why? But why? And I want to pause here and let you sort of explore your why. Why do you think that I'm looking to bring spirituality into the lives of all through business? In my view, spirituality or higher consciousness is a huge value add for every individual in their personal and professional growth and development. To know oneself leads to growing oneself, and both of these lead to living life in an empowered state. And this is what businesses need. This is what the earth needs. More empowered humans uniting together to share their amazing talent, wisdom, and awareness. So I ask that we all unite and rally together to bring spirituality into business. In business, when we go through this book club together in businesses, we work with our department, with our separate little pod or team, right? And we connect together. We listen to the book club weekly Zoom call together. We discuss it together. We share our insights. We share our growth. We share our awareness. We learn more about one another. And in doing so, we start to find greater value, respect, and connection with those that we work with and sit with. But not only that, wherever two or more gather with the same like-minded purpose, your results are 10x. You have quantum level results in your gathering. And the insights that come to you when you gather with like-minded individuals for the same purpose of growing individually, the results are going to astound you. You'll be able to start recognizing in others the real growth, what's happening in them. You'll be able to start complimenting them, sharing with them what you see, what you recognize, and what they're demonstrating in their day in and day out, just showing up at work. In their day in, day out behaviors, responding, replying to emails, talking, sharing. You'll be able to see and recognize in yourself your own personal growth, your own development. You'll hear from your coworkers what they see in you. And you'll begin to validate the powerful work that's transforming you at the very core of who you are. Not by forcing it, not by memorizing something, but by tapping in to your divine nature and letting go of all those aspects of you that weren't you. Marianne Williamson has a beautiful quote and says that spirituality or the spiritual journey is actually the unlearning of fear and the acceptance of love. Think about that one for a minute, because we've just come out of massive 2 years of fear-based social distancing, masking up, fear of a virus, fear of a pandemic, fear of death, fear of loss, fear of loved ones getting sick, fear of contaminating, fear of going out in public, fear of being around others. So I ask you, can you find your definition, your meaning of what spirituality is for you? And I had one question that came in earlier, and I do want to look at seeing if anybody has contributed or added to any questions in the feed so that we can answer these questions live and on the air. One question I had that came in early was this: how do I bring spirituality into all that I do when I work and live with others who are not spiritual? that? It was a great question. And I feel like our questions start to change as we grow in our own spiritual nature. Spirituality is for you, it's not for others. It's not for us to find fault in others or to discern where they're at. If we're discerning where they're at, we're coming at it with empathy and compassion. That from their level of awareness, this is how they see things. From their level of awareness, this is what they can understand. And we have great compassion for everyone because we're all on our own unique journey. I have no idea what your journey entails. And I have no idea what you've been through or what experiences have made you who you are today. So how do you bring spirituality into all that you do? When you work with others who are not spiritual? Well, one way is to invite others to go through this book club with you, to invite others in the journey and respect them along the way. All of what they'll be learning will be the same as what you're learning, but it will be unique to them. Each of us will have unique answers, just like I shared with you a dozen different answers of what does spirituality mean to you. Each of us will grow in our unique path. So one way is to invite others into this personal journey of growth and development, because that's what the book really is. It's a guide to know yourself, to grow yourself, and to live a more empowered life. And when I say empowered, how are we disempowered? We're disempowered when we say, I can't. I don't have any money. I can't join the book club. I don't have the finances. I don't have the time. When we are proclaiming limitations upon ourselves, we're in a disempowered state. We've given our power away to time and money and our beliefs that we don't have enough. And what I know for sure is when there's a will, when there's a desire deep within you for anything, you'll find a way. But to make it easy for early adopters I've given out a coupon code for you to use to get into the book club for only $1. And if you go to my website and sign up for the book club, sign up for the pay in full version and use coupon code with love, you'll be able to get yourself into the book club for only $1. But during the book club, you'll be demolishing these old beliefs and lack and limitation. You'll be finding more ways to see and recognize your sense of worthiness, your value, and your prosperity will be starting to flourish and show up for you along your journey of just expanding your awareness to all this. So reading the book alone will grow your awareness. Join me in the book club and you'll 10x your results. Invite others to do it with you, and you've just amplified that even further. Don't do it alone. Join the book club. Join with others. I tell you that the growth you receive from group work is by far some of the deepest and most powerful work that you'll experience in life. And that's why businesses are trying to work on developing the power of working together in teams, because the work we get, the results we get when we work together in teams is priceless. And we're here to really grow, growing ourselves along with others, seeing the value in others and where they bring in and step up with where my weakness is. That's the real gift. That's the real gift. You know, Henry Ford didn't have it all figured out, but he knew how to implore and develop and bring forth and hire the right, intelligent people that knew, that had the resources, the insight, the knowledge, and the experience to do what he didn't do well. Steve Jobs said it well. when he said, we here at Apple, we don't hire bright, intelligent people to come to work here at Apple to tell them what to do. We hire those bright, intelligent people to bring forth what they already know, to gift Apple with the insights to take us even further than we are here today. So I'm going to leave you with that note and let you know that we're all here to grow and to prosper. And that being on this journey, we're all on this journey together, yet individually. Your journey is unique and specific to you. Nobody here can be a better version of you. There is no competition for you in your life, in the world, in your career. Nobody can compete with being you. One thing that awareness taught me early on was that my childhood dream was to be an actress. And that's been my realization. You're an actor or actress. You are the main character. You are the main role in the screen, the action, the story that's unfolding called your life. You're the main character. You're the top actor or actress in this unfolding that you call your life. We all are. Everyone else is an added role. They add to your story. You're here to invite them in with love, with acceptance, to see what they come to bring. And when we really look at life in this way, it's a really big shift in all of it. So I invite you to look at how you see the world today. Do you see your reality as friendly, inviting, or do you see it as fearful and a need to protect? Because however you see it is what you're crafting more of. One thing spirituality brought me was a greater understanding of spiritual law. And I'll be tapping on those periodically through the book. So we'll be expanding on universal laws as we continue a journey of knowing yourself, growing yourself, and living life in power. Thanks for joining me on this journey, beautiful souls. Here's to your growth and your empowerment. I look forward to seeing more of you along the way.